Hi there, I'm Egg and Toast, I do things on YouTube, and welcome to Tarkov for Timmies. In this video, we'll go over how to load into a practice raid so you don't lose your gear, how to move around in the raid, how to navigate through the raid, and how to extract. It is now time to escape from Tarkov. Click on Escape from Tarkov in the center of the screen. Select PMC, and click Next. These are all the maps in EFT. The starter maps for Little Timmies are Factory, Customs, and Woods. These other maps like Reserve, Lighthouse, Shoreline, Streets, and Interchange can be played, but none of them have early game quests and can be confusing to the Timmy. Let's click on Customs. You'll be given 2 times. Most of the time there will be a day and a night time. It's also in military time, so if you struggle with that, subtract 12 from the big number and that'll give you your answer. Next to the times, there is a weather icon. This will give you an idea of what the weather will be once you actually load into the raid. Click the daytime setting, and then click Next. This is very important now. Since we're Little Timmies, we don't know what we're doing, we don't know where we're going, we want to make sure that we're comfortable with the game, the map, and its mechanics before we actually get into the game. Tarkov's rough, and you will die. But if you follow this guide, you'll die a little less. Click Enable Practice Mode for this raid. This will prevent you from losing your stuff if you die, and it'll also stop other players from spawning into your game. If you click Game Settings, you can tweak and adjust the raid as you like. For now, we're going to go down to PvE settings and turn the AI amount to none. Once you got that, click on Next, and then click Ready. You'll begin loading into the map. It'll take some time if you're running on an HDD or a hard drive, so just keep that in mind. While we're waiting for the game to load, I do want to talk about the map itself as well as player spawns and player movement. There are multiple places where players can spawn at the beginning of the raid. We are going to be referring to this map here. It is also going to be available in the description below. Spawns are randomized. You can split the map into thirds. You can spawn on either the right side or the left side of the map. Within those sides, you can spawn at the front, middle, or back. Front spawns are closest to the middle of the map, back spawns are farthest from the middle of the map, and middle spawns are somewhere in between the front and the back spawns. We'll have to decipher where we spawned. Double tap O and display your extraction points. Generally, if you spawn on the left, you'll have to move across the map to get to the right, and vice versa. Move your mouse to look around. If your sensitivity feels too high, you can change it by pressing the escape key, bringing up the pause menu, pressing the settings button, and clicking on controls at the top, and adjusting your mouse sensitivity slider at the bottom left of the screen. Be sure to press the save button before you leave. Use the WASD keys to move forward, backwards, left, and right. If you press the spacebar, your character will jump. There's a lot of things you can do with jumps, but for now just know that you will jump when you press space. If you press W and Shift at the same time, your player will start sprinting. It'll consume the stamina bar in the bottom left, but it is a way of moving faster. If you press the caps lock key, you will drop your movement speed all the way down to 0. If you press it again, it'll jump back up to the previous move speed that you had it at. And this is influenced by the scroll wheel, which we will talk about later. If you press the C key, your character will crouch. Crouching also has different levels to it, we will talk about that later. Crouching also reduces your move speed. Pressing X will make your character prone. Proning will reduce your profile and a few other things. Proning will make a lot of noise, moving while prone will make a lot of noise, getting up from prone will make a lot of noise. Use it sparingly, but when you are prone you do regain your stamina, so use it when you're overweight. Pressing down and holding the Alt key, and then pressing the E key, will do a sidestep. The same thing is true while pressing the Q key to do it in the opposite direction. If you just press the E key, your character will lean, and if you just press the Q key, your character will lean in the opposite direction. Using the scroll wheel, you can adjust your movement speed, displayed at the bottom left. The slowest walk speed will make the least amount of noise, but you'll move the slowest. You can choose any kind of speed along that whole range. They'll all make different noises and move at different speeds. If you hold the C key down and then you use the scroll wheel, you will change your crouching height. This is useful for making sure that you can get your gun over whatever obstacle you're behind. Now that you've learned how to move around in Tarkov, you're familiar with all of its mechanics, feel free to just run about and do what you want, try to get in some weird places, using all of those mechanics that I've taught you. Jump, sprint, lean, sidestep, find areas that you think you can catch people out, do whatever. But for me, I'm going to figure out where I spawned. I've played this game enough to know exactly where I spawned right off the rip. First second in the raid, I knew where I was. But I've only moved a little bit to the north, and we gotta get all the way over there to the west, or to the left. So, since this is all I've done, the first place I'm gonna go is power. If you ever get lost, make your way back to the main road. It'll take you to either a crossroads or close enough to ZB11 for your extracts. Don't recommend doing this in the actual raid though. Since we're in the corner of the map right now, we're going to have to turn to the right, jump over the wall, and just follow the top of the map. I'm going to put this map up here in the top right, so that way you guys can follow along with where I am on the map. The way that you know that you're approaching power is through the massive power transmission tower. Power has a medical case that's located inside the hut itself, and there's some weapon crates scattered around Power in general. Most fights don't really happen at Power, they happen more so at Sniper's Ridge, or just anywhere around the actual Power facility. Just down from Power, you have New Gas and Sniper's Ridge. Over to the right, we have the little train cars over there that aren't marked on the actual map itself, but it is a place where people will pass through when they're trying to avoid New Gas. Up here is Sniper's Ridge, and the reason we'll call it everyone calls it Sniper's Ridge is because you got a nice little view of all of the warehouses and New Gas itself. So it's quite the place for sniping, though everyone knows about it. If you just lay on the rocks, they're gonna see you and shoot you. Moving on down, we're going to head on over into New Gas. New Gas will have a few loot spawns just kind of out on the shelves everywhere. They tend to be food or like tool items. There are 2 registers behind the actual counter itself. There are rooms in the back. One of them you do need a key to be able to access it, and of course, you know, the key room is going to have better loot than the actual like open rooms. Rishala, the scav boss, also can spawn here. This is a very hot place on the map. A lot of activity is going to be happening here. Moving on to the front of New Gas, there's going to be these 2 big white silos. This is the start of the middle of the map if you're approaching from the right side. There will be a scav sniper on that first silo that I aimed at. You will have to kill him if somebody else doesn't kill him, because he will see you and start shooting at you from quite a ways away. There is a cut through right there, as well as a jump over, but we're not going to worry too much about that right now. We're going to keep on going and enter the center of the map here, where I will show off the bus station. Welcome to the bus station. There's nothing there, so we're just going to turn around and immediately go towards Skeleton. Bus station does have a lot of scavs spawn around it, so just be aware that scavs are going to be near that bus station and along the road. Coming up here, this is Skeleton. So this is pretty much dead center of the map. This is where all the PvP is going to happen, somewhere between Dorm, Skeleton, and Fortress. The main reason that most people come to Skeleton is because of the height advantage that it gives you. You can see a little bit of bus stop if you're standing where I'm at right now. If you have optics, you might be able to see into New Gas, and you can see people zooming around there. Uh-oh. Coming around over to the other side, if you come over here, you can see pretty much all of the front of Fortress, Crack House, the railroad behind there where people are going to be moving around trying to navigate through the map. It's just an insane vantage point that you gain while being up on Skeleton. Just be aware that if you're up here, people know you're going to be up here, and they're going to be looking for you. On the other side, looking towards Dorms, you can see the entrance to 3-story and all of the staircases there. You can also see a little bit of tankers and the other, I guess you could call it skeleton, at the other construction. There's going to be loose military loot. There's going to be loose food spawns, as well as a few little military crates just scattered about. Keep in mind that both construction, tankers, and skeleton are all going to spawn quite a few scavs. Coming through here, you'll have to fight not only the players, but the scavs as well. I would say we've gotten a pretty good amount of loot. We've explored a pretty good amount of the map. At this point, we might as well start heading towards our extracts. We have 2 guaranteed extracts that are going to be open. Those are Crossroads and Trailer Park. The other extracts that may or may not be open are going to be RUAF Roadblock and Smuggler's Boat. I'm just going to head over to Smuggler's Boat and see if it's open. So, coming up here to some unmarked locations on the map. This little tiny hut here is called Ice Cream. You can see the little skeleton structure in construction, and there is Main Bridge right there. So we're actually going to go to the right of Main Bridge, and we're going to check to see if Smuggler's Boat is here. Smuggler's Boat will be here if there is a campfire, as well as a small little rowboat. We don't see either of those, so we're just going to turn around and make our way over to Crossroads. Welcome to Junk Bridge. If you can't figure out how that name was derived, well, I can't really help you too much. It's made of junk. Junk Bridge is one of the locations that a lot of people will use to transition through the map, because Main Bridge is scary and people can see you on Main Bridge. I don't get it. I cross over Main Bridge all the time. Moving along up here, we're going to be getting closer to Big Red. You can't really see Big Red right there because it's the lighting right now is making it look all black and shadowy. So let's get a little closer. Big Red. You're gonna spend a lot of time here as a little Timmy, mainly because of a specific quest, which I will not spoil. But those of you who know why you will be here a lot. Moving on out of here, we're going to head on over to Storage. Storage doesn't really have too much. Big Red doesn't really have too much. There's like weapon crates kind of scattered about. Big Red has a nice little key that you're going to need to get to a certain quest. Storage, on the other hand, doesn't really have much of anything other than some like tool bags and loose loot kind of scattered about. But moving on in here, this is Crossroads. This is going to be our extract for this raid. Remember, your extract will change based on which spawn you get. If you spawn on the left, you'll need to cross to the right, and since we spawned on the right, we had to cross to the left. That's it. That's all you gotta do. You just gotta get into your raid, explore a little bit, get used to the movement, and get your way out of the raid without, the timer running out or somehow dying with nothing on the map. I believe in you. I think you can do it. Next time, we'll be talking about the weapons, weapon handling, and weapon mechanics. We're going to enable AI scavs as well to give you something to shoot at, but be warned, these scavs are going to shoot back at you. You're probably going to die a few times, so just be warned. Once you've gotten used to the weapons and how they handle all of their keybinds, because there's going to be a lot of keybinds, as well as getting comfortable with killing scavs, then we'll get into an actual raid. I have been Egg and Toast. Hopefully you learned something, and I will see you in the next one.